I'm Jean Tiberio, and I'm a nutritionist and a wellness coach. You're listening to Healing Outside the Box. Today is episode 143, and I'm calling it, Does Protein Quality Matter? Well, as it turns out, not so much. So today I'll give you the rundown on the why it doesn't matter so much. Now, we all know that proteins, along with carbohydrates and fats, are part of a trio of macronutrients necessary for our bodies to function properly. But how do we define a protein? And furthermore, what is more important, the quality or the quantity? Let's see. Proteins are often defined as amino acids that are attached together, a bit like a string of pearls. The final proteins may take on a three-dimensional shape, such as a spiral or a loop. Now, these proteins are comprised of 21 different amino acids that are arranged in different combinations. So there's close to an infinite, or maybe just a lot, of different combinations. Each amino acid, like a pearl in a string of pearls. See above. If you string about 200 of these amino acids together, you'll get yourself a protein. Now, proteins are different from carbohydrates and fats because they have a nitrogen and 3 hydrogens attached as a functional group. It's called the ammonia functional group, and it's attached to each of these pearls. Amino acids are separated basically into two groups, essential amino acids and, you guessed it, non-essential amino acids. Essential amino acids cannot be made by our bodies and have to be taken in from food. Non-essential amino acids can be put together by our bodies. This is often confusing because all 21 amino acids are necessary for a body to build proteins and to regenerate our cells. But essential amino acids are different because they have to be absorbed into our blood exactly as our body needs them. Then we can string these pearls together and make proteins that become our skin cells, red blood cells, etc. Okay, fair enough. So this is why the issue of protein quality was first developed. Almost all of our foods have some protein in them, with the exception of fruit. But some foods contain more of those 9 essential amino acids that are necessary to build our own proteins. The foods that contain more of those essential amino acids are referred to as foods containing complete proteins, which is a bit of a misstatement, but there you have it. Maybe the dairy industry may have had something to do with it, if you like your conspiracies, or maybe not. Anyway, foods that have complete proteins are dairy, including whey, eggs, meat, chicken, and fish. Example of foods with what they would call incomplete proteins are corn, rice, wheat, and vegetables. Now, there are a few starches with high-quality proteins, and a couple of examples are quinoa, which has 8 grams of protein per cup of cooked, and oats, which has 6 grams of protein per cup cooked. Both of those grains are excellent sources of protein. Now, let's look at the proteins that come from rice. Now, I pick on rice, and you're about to hear why. The proteins in rice lack the essential amino acid lysine. Although lysine contains that characteristic NH3, 1 nitrogen, 3 hydrogens, our bodies simply cannot make lysine, and we need to get that amino acid from other foods. If you are unfortunate to be born in a developing nation and you're starving, rice will fill you up, but it is not an ideal or even a good source of protein. So those children do not have all the amino acids necessary to build new cells, and therefore have stunted growth and fall prey to infectious diseases and so forth. Also, in addition to building cell proteins, lysine is necessary for the production of elastin and collagen. But this is where beans, including soybeans, nuts, seeds, and lentils, come to the rescue. These foods have lysine and can complement the rice to provide the necessary amino acid we know as lysine. Now, it was once thought that we needed to have both types of proteins together in one meal, i.e. beans and rice, cereal with milk, etc., to get them to complement each other. But that is no longer believed to be the case. Eating a variety of plant foods during the day should provide sufficient nutrients to meet your protein needs. That is, if we eat quality plant foods and avoid a steady diet of donuts, candy, and soda. Although junk food is primarily vegetarian, and in the case of candy, even vegan, it is not what the experts are referring to when recommending a plant-based diet. My own physician knew that I was instructing patients on vegetarian diets and said, "Hey, Jean, now if I have a jelly donut, I'm still a vegetarian, right?" And, well, yes. As always, consult your physician, maybe not one that enjoys busting your chops about it, if you plan to, as they say, go vegan, as you may need to supplement your diet with, say, vitamin B12, vitamin D, calcium, maybe iron, or even zinc. Now, as for the issue of quantity of protein that you may need for optimal health, this will depend on your total weight and the amount of muscle mass. The rule of thumb calculation is that most people need about 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight. I know, here we go with the metrics. But if, say, 1 kilogram equals roughly 2.2 pounds, then a 150-pound person would weigh roughly 68 kilograms. That person would need only 54.4 grams of protein. Diet diaries, and I did plenty of these in my dietitian days, have shown that the average American, and that would mean a meat eater, takes in about 70 to 90 grams of protein per day. Therefore, quantity is usually not the issue if we are eating a variety of quality foods and not feasting on junk food. See above. Anyone wishing to switch from, say, a meat-based diet to an exclusively plant diet may want to seek dietary advice just to make sure we're getting both quality and quantity of protein. Anyone with a chronic condition, especially one that involves GI symptoms or anorexia, should certainly contact their physician and possibly a nutrition specialist for dietary advice. Oh, by the way, Canada, or as we like to say, the nice people, is now promoting a plant-based diet in their new dietary guidelines for their nation. And they like their Canadian bacon, I'm assuming. I'll give you a link to that article in the show notes. So the bottom line is this. We don't have to worry about protein quality if we go to a plant-based diet, as long as we're eating a variety of whole foods that actually look like, I don't know, say a food. If you'd like to consult a nutritionist for ideas about meal planning and so forth, I happen to do this. It's, well, my day job, so you can contact me via my contact page on my website, which is, not surprisingly, Healing Outside the Box. That's all I have for you today. Be well and stay tuned next week for another episode of Healing Outside the Box.